Election day just a few weeks away, and there is a lot to think about when it comes to this election. So we're going to start that process this morning with Proposal 2 on the ballot, and it would make maybe significant changes to Michigan's election law. Charlie Langton here. Charlie, we didn't even say officially good morning.
Well, good morning.
All rise.
Good morning.
Right.
Well, watching you eat food. There's all kinds of good things going on here today.
I know.
Oh, yeah,
Every
good
day,
food too.
Charlie.
Good food.
Charlie is a super busy guy. I mean, the hardest worker.
And he's a lawyer.
But whenever there's wine or food,
He shows up.
He shows up
Magically.
just magically, and then he disappears.
I don't know how that happens.
Everybody loves Charlie. Charlie like the mayor of Fox too. You
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
in and tell
I don't
everybody.
think so.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so Prop 2, by the way, on our website, fox2detroit.com, they've broken down all of the issues for you as well. But Charlie, you kind of have the crux of this that we need to pay attention to.
I think the big thing for Proposition 2 is that the big picture here is that it's 9 days of in-person voting. Right now we have 1 day in-person voting. It's on Election Day. And we have 45 days of ballot box absentee voting. But if this passes, you can go to your local clerk's office and vote in person for 9 days. That's a big deal.
I love that.
So, yeah.
Makes it better for everybody.
It makes it easier, convenient.
Yeah,
9 days,
yeah. On your
right?
day
So-
off, you don't have to plan a day off just to vote. You can just vote on your day off.
Yeah. So, and the other thing is that it will require an absentee ballot box in every city or township, whatever. So at least every city has to have at least one.
Where you can just go and drop it off.
We can just drop it off.
Because usually you have to mail it in.
Usually have to mail it in.
I love this,
Some
Charlie.
cities- so good.
I love it so far.
So far, so good. All
Yeah.
right. So here's the other one that's a little bit weird, and I called one of my clerk friends, and I'm saying, hey, I don't really get this, but clerks can actually accept donations to fund elections.
What?
That's what I said too. So apparently if the local McDonald's or whatever, anyway, I think what this really means is that they can get grants to facilitate the extra cost that it may be to hire staff or pick up the ballots or
You're
whatever
not
it may
talking
be.
about going to any specific candidate. You're talking about to fund the election
The
process
election
itself.
process
Okay,
only.
okay.
I would say those are the highlights of those.
Well, I think the biggest issue, though, Charlie, is there's not requirement of an ID, a state ID.
Don't need a state ID either. You don't need that.
That
You can
seems
sign
to
it.
be an issue.
That's an issue.
How do you vote without showing your ID? I mean, how are they going to know it's you?
You can sign an affidavit saying you are Lee Thomas. You can do whatever
Anybody
you
can
want.
sign an affidavit and say they're Lee Thomas.
I know. So that's in
So
there too.
I got a question on that. That's a good one because, and I'm sorry to jump in here, guys. If you don't
Please.
mind.
Go.
So all this stuff is on one proposal, and if you don't like that, you don't vote for the other stuff. So they put all this stuff in there that you like, and then they have this thing in there that you don't like. But if you like you got to pick it. It's not one or the other. You have to vote for the whole thing or no.
Oh, the whole thing or no?
That
You
ain't
can't pick
right.
and choose there. You can't do you can't divide it. So, I talked to a couple of the clerks. Here's the other little kicker of this thing. It's a little technical one. It's a constitutional amendment, so it's harder to change. It means the legislature can't, if they don't like the voter ID or the accepting donations or whatever, they want to make it 10 days or 2 days or whatever, you've got to have another ballot proposal on the ballot, and it's going to take a lot of people to change it. So it is a constitutional amendment.
Now, in the story that we aired earlier, Dave
Spencer?
Kinchin.
Oh yeah,
Dave Kinchin.
Yeah.
Story.
Dave Kinchin. Yeah.
He interviewed both sides, people on both sides of Proposal 2. And the woman who was for it said that if you show up and you forgot your purse at home or something, you don't have to show your ID. I was trying to look for what is the purpose of allowing people to vote without an ID, besides the fact that you left your purse or your wallet in the car.
But that just if if you were going to fly on an airplane and you just said I forgot my purse or wallet, I mean you go through a rigorous that's really
that
hard.
doesn't seem to merit to
pass the smell
justify
test.
I think the argument
making a
is access to
constitutional
voting, and some people don't have IDs, and some people
Well,
Some people
that-
don't have
that I
IDs. Some
understand,
people
yeah.
don't have IDs, right?
generally poorer people, people of with less means, don't have IDs. They don't have to go anywhere, and why should they have that? We want to make voting as accessible as possible. The ACLU was a big proponent of this. There are a number of other groups that were a proponent of this. So. 9 days in-person voting, good or bad. It's going to change the way we would run for office, perhaps.
Did it do anything about, and I say this with quotes, harassing at the poll stations.
So there's a kind of like a preamble a little bit. One of them is we don't want any harassments at the poll. Although the specifics about that, I don't know.
Because people got a little rigorous about their subjects when you would go to vote, and they're standing there. You're trying to walk in to vote, and they're going, "You have to do this, that, or the other." And the opposition is on the other side of the door. It makes you want to run.
Yeah, we still have rules where all the solicitations got to be X amount of distance from the polling place and all that kind of stuff. But listen, I think it's the way of the world now. I think we're going to have 45 days. I think absentees, even in this election, the people that I've talked to, I would say 50% or more will be voting absentee. I already voted. I don't know about you guys. I already voted. Voted last night. So
well, and I think the bottom line is, and especially when you look at the history of voting in our country, it's
it's one of the big issues.
Yeah, of course, and understanding that it is a right. It's not a privilege. It is a right, and we have to afford that right to as many people as possible.
Many people fought for it. Women didn't have the right to vote. Many ethnicities didn't have the right to vote. So get in there. And that's the thing that gets me. Most people go, well, there's nothing to do with me, so I'm not going to vote. Yeah. Then it does have nothing to do with you, and you're not going to be counted if you don't vote.
Part of these, proposals, though, is, Lee, like you said, if you believe in one thing but you don't believe in the other,
it's hard to sift through that.
It's really hard to sift through. And what it allows for, in my opinion, and what we've seen, is if a Republican is going to lose, you're going to talk about election fraud. If a Democrat is going to lose, you're going to talk about voter rights. There leads to be a problem for me, and nobody is going to believe who actually won. That's just, it's where we are right now.
Election integrity is an issue. I mean, I think inflation and abortion are probably the two biggest issues. A poll came out today which said that inflation may be more of an issue than abortion, but they're very, very close. The debate tonight, by the way, the governor's going to be squaring off. I would think perhaps the proposals will come out. Certainly Proposal 3, the abortion one certainly will be discussed. So it is very important to vote. Just go out and vote. Anyway.
Well, and
absentee voter, get it in.
Absentee,
you can do it today.
Do it. You vote right now, today.
Good job. Good job, Charlie.
And maybe next week we'll tackle maybe abortion, Proposal 3.
Proposal 3.
Proposal 1.
Right. But, you can't count though starting until the election's over, right?
That's right. Cannot count.
I remember when you used to know who was going to win on election night, not a month later.
Where else are you guys out there going to get free counsel from a lawyer? We just had a session with a lawyer with billable hours.
Billable hours.
Yeah.